All right, take it away, Joe.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the call tonight. I have to apologize for not being on the video portion of the call. Some technical difficulties, although I am on the beach, so I can't complain. So it's not that technical, just I don't have any service. So I called in, but that's one of the great things about being a coach is that we can work remotely if you call it work. I don't even think it's work. So, but we want to welcome you to the call, Katie and I. I'm going to actually just talk first a little bit about myself real quick, and I promise I'll make it real quick. And then Katie will introduce herself. So I don't need to introduce her. She can do that on her own. So my name is Joey Walsh, and I'm from Team Achieve. And my story is basically back in 2005, I started a program called Turbo Jam by Beachbody with Chalene Johnson, and I actually got it from my dad. My dad bought it for me. He actually bought it from my mom, but then I took one, and I just needed to lose some weight, so I worked out at home. I was too afraid to go into the gym. So I worked out at home, and I understand that some people like to work out in the gym and some people like to work out at home. I do like to work out in the gym also now, but at the time I was just too intimidated to go into a gym, so I worked out at home, and I'm glad I did it at home because I almost puked a couple of times, and that would have been horrible at the gym. So I was introduced to Beachbody back in 2005, but I didn't really know what coaching was. I just did the videos, and then I actually saw an ad on Craigslist for Beachbody Coaching, which I thought was odd, but I answered the ad, and it sent me to a video, and a generic video about what Beachbody Coaching is. And then I contacted Janelle Summers, who's actually in the videos, and on Facebook, and she answered, which I almost dropped dead, but she did answer me, and we chatted back and forth for a long time. And then I became a coach. So I really just became a coach for the discount because I was, really buying the products. Because once I was introduced to Turbo Jam, I, of course, bought Chalene Extreme and Turbo Fight. It just snowballed from there. So I started as a product of the company, but I know a lot of people have different stories, but that's how I began with the company. I became a coach, and I didn't really do anything with it for years. When I tell you years and years and years and years, my account, if you want to call it, just kind of sat dormant. And I was just doing it for the discount, like I said, buying products, and then I started buying Shakeology. So it was really honestly just like what we call a discount coach, and then started really working my business, years down the road. So I really was needed to do something, financially, in a sense, for a job. I was, I come from a family where my parents worked 7 days a week, always. My mother worked in retail, and my father worked in real estate. So the weekends were when they worked. Like, that's where they made their money. They had to work on Saturdays and Sundays, and my dad actually always worked 7 days a week. Always. So as long as I can remember, I had a friend come over, and we went over to her house, and I slept over. It was like my first sleepover, and I woke up on Sunday morning, and her parents were home, and they made us pancakes. And I went home, and I said, "Ma, that's so weird. Erin's parents were home on Sunday morning. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Her whole family was home." And she's like, "Joe, that's what a lot of people do." And I was like, I couldn't wrap my brain around it that their parents were home. So I swore up and down when I had kids that I was going to be home every time they went to school, and when they got home from school, I was going to be home. That was my goal, was, when my kids were growing up. And I did that at first by bartending. So I was a bartender for many years, and I would bartend at night, and then in the morning, I would still be able to get up with the kids, but I was obviously exhausted, because when you work till 3 o'clock in the morning, you are exhausted. It's like you can't, you're out with the kids, but you're not really there. So I did that for years, and that really didn't work out. So, with Beachbody Coaching, I am able now to stay home with my kids and be there. Now they're teenagers, and now they need rides everywhere. I'm a taxi service. So, but I do have the freedom to do that. And that was my goal in life. So, financially, everybody has goals. Everybody has personal goals. Everybody has weight loss goals. But my goal was really just to be with my kids, and I can do that. I mean, obviously, because financially I can. So that was basically my goal. And then I want to share that with others because I know that I cannot be the only person. I cannot be the only person on the planet that feels that way too, that wants to be home for their kids. And you have to, kind of put your nose to the grindstone and make it happen. So that's what I did. But, my story is probably different from your story. And I know my story is different than Katie's story, but, coming from my team and knowing my team, I have such a great group of people on my team, and we have doctors and teachers and real estate agents and, all these different walks of life, and people are doing coaching part-time and full-time, and they're really making it work for them. And there's just no pre-qualifications for what a coach is. And I think that's the main thing when someone says, what is coaching? We're just helping people either through our products or helping people financially. It doesn't even have to just lead with products. It can help them financially too. But there's no pre-qualifications. Every other job on the planet has a pre-qualification. Beachbody Coaching doesn't, because you can learn as you go. But you just need the will to work and help people, and then have patience to build a business, because this is a business. And if you're willing to do all of those things, then you can be a coach, point blank, period. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. But I just want to convey to everybody that there's just so many walks of life of different people that are coaches, and your story may be nothing like mine, or it may be exactly like mine, but that's the beauty of being a coach. And so today I'm with my kids, and I was telling Katie before the call that my kids are actually walking the streets right now, which is making me a little bit nervous because it's dark out. But I'm with them, and we're on vacation. And this is quote unquote the only work I have to do today is be on this call. I don't even have to be here, but being on this call for a few minutes. And I'm on this call because I want to be, but that's really the only work that I'm doing today. So I have trouble calling it work. So that's all I have to say, Katie, if you want to go.
Well, thank you, Joey. And I just kind of want to follow up with Joey saying that, it's all walks of life and there's no pre-qualification, because Joey and I do have two very different stories. But what I think is really cool about that is that one of the aspects of Team Beachbody Coaching is that you get to be your own brand and you get to be who you are. And I come from the pharmaceutical world. So I am a pharmaceutical rep. And my story is just, I was in the fitness world, and my aunt happened to be a Team Beachbody coach, and I did this 10-day challenge with her. It was the Turbo Jam, actually, meal plan, but I did it for 10 days and went to all these classes and thought, oh my gosh, all these people from all walks of life. Like, I'm talking, there were moms in there were people, and I was maybe 20 at the time, 22, 23, I don't even know. But there were people that were younger than me. We had high schoolers in it. We had people my age. We had 40-year-olds. We had 50-year-olds, people who only wanted to walk, people that wanted to go to the classes, people that, all walks of life. And at the end of it, what was cool was, yeah, people lost weight, and that's why we signed up for it. But there were so many people who said things like, this 10-day challenge was awesome. And you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to do this. And I feel so much more confident that I'm going to go and do this. And I just remember all of these people coming together for just one purpose. And that support and accountability launched people into doing so much more, that they just needed a little confidence, or they just needed that support and that accountability. And all of a sudden it pushed them to finally do that thing that they've always wanted to, or check it off the bucket list. And I knew that after that, I remember talking to my aunt and saying, that was just really cool. That 10-day challenge, that last meeting we had, the finale, I was like, I want to be part of that. Like, I want to help people understand that I do love fitness and I love teaching, because I come from the fitness world. That's kind of how I found out about Beachbody Coaching. Is I was a Turbo Kick instructor, and Chalene Johnson obviously is the creator of Turbo Kick and Turbo Jam. But long story short, I just remember thinking, well, I love fitness, but I love fitness for so many more intangible reasons that have nothing to do with weight loss. Like, I just want people to realize that and realize that, coming to my class is so much more than just, oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds if I keep sticking with this. Like, no, it's going to be your social circle. It's your support system. It's a place where if you're frustrated and you had a bad day at work, well, we can help change your day so that when you go home and you have dinner with your family, like, you're in a good mood again, and they don't get your bad day. They get, you just got to work out and take care of you. And so I just knew I wanted to be part of it. However, I'd also just started as a pharmaceutical rep. So what I always compare Beachbody to is a pharmaceutical rep, because that's all I know. And I started working as a pharmaceutical rep. And when Joey says that there's no pre-qualifications, I think that's pretty amazing, because to get into pharmaceuticals, you have to know someone who knows someone who knows someone. And then you have to turn in your resume, and almost every single person will tell you, but we need you to have experience first. And you're like, yeah, but that's why I applied for the job. Like, I want experience. Like, I'm a really hard worker. Like, trust me, like, if you tell me what to do, I'll do it. Like, I'm a really hard worker. And they're like, that's great, but you need experience. And so it's like, oh my gosh. And you like beat your head against the wall. You're like, I'm trying to get experience, but no one's taking a chance on me. And fortunately, through my fitness connections, ironically, it was someone in my fitness class. Her husband was a pharmaceutical manager, and he hired me basically because I taught turbo kick. So that's kind of a funny story into it. But long story short, I have worked for a couple companies now. And recently in March, I was laid off. And it came out of left field. It was like, one day I thought I had a job, and then I got on a conference call on a Friday, and they were like, you have 2 weeks, you need to turn in your computer, and you're done. And it was kind of like, what just happened? Like, I know there's no guarantees in life, but that really, I just felt like, oh my gosh, I didn't see this coming. You know, I do everything that I should have. Like, I was the second highest sales on my team. I didn't really take off a lot for vacation. You know, I worked the hours I was supposed to. I made the number of calls. Like, I, you know, quote unquote, did everything right. And I still got let go. It was like nothing that I did, my merit, my hard work, nothing mattered. And it just gave me some time to reflect, because I had a whole like 2 or 3 months where I just took off. I didn't apply for jobs. I didn't start anything, because I was just like, you know what? This is what the Beachbody coaching opportunity is. Because in pharmaceuticals, you know what? I have to report to a manager, and that manager reports to another manager, and that manager reports to another manager. So you have all these sales rep people. You have thousands of sales rep that all report to a manager. So maybe you have hundreds of managers. Then you have maybe those managers reporting to other top managers. So there's maybe only 10 of those. And then those 10 report to maybe 5, and those 5 report to 2, and those 2 report to 1. So if you are on the video, you can see me kind of building this little pyramid scheme. Well, everyone always asks me when I say, oh yeah, I'm a Beachbody coach, they're like, oh, isn't that slimy, sleazy pyramid scheme, that multi-level marketing? And I say, you know what, it is network marketing. And if you're on this call and you're thinking, oh, is this a get rich quick scheme? It's not, because I've been doing this for 5 years, and it was not a get rich quick scheme for me at all. And we will train you, and it is hard work, and you got to put your nose to the grindstone. But what I will tell you is, yes, Beachbody does build 2 legs. So when you sign up as a coach, you are where you are in the big network marketing in the spider web of life. However, when you start to build your team, you'll build 1 leg and then another leg, because in order to walk, you got to have 2 legs. So you will build 2 legs. So yes, it does look like a pyramid scheme. However, what I will tell you is that the person that signs you up, and even the person above you, who's above you, who's above you, who's above you, no one can ever hold you back from reaching a certain rank or reaching a certain income. And I think that's pretty huge, because my manager, I did eventually get a new job, but my manager talks to me about hitting my goals as a pharmaceutical rep, because he wants his bonus. Not necessarily because, yes, he does want to help me, but at the same time, he wants to meet his goals and his bonus, because I can only make so much. And whatever he says, because part of my metrics is my evaluation from him, like I'm dependent on him to make my bonus. There's no way around it. And I'm capped at my salary. But with Beachbody coaching, you're not. So, you know, people are always like, yeah, but am I on the strong leg or the weak leg or da-da-da? First of all, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter where you put in this. It is all up to you. And so when I was laid off, I was like, you know what, Beachbody coaching, it is all up to me. Like, my hard work, my effort, my decision to get up at 5 a.m. is all my own, because I have unlimited opportunity. Unlimited. And that was the first big realization with coaching. But the second was also that I get to pick who I work with, and I also get to pick what I want to work with, meaning like what kind of products do I want to work with, because I love Beachbody products, and they have tons of them. I guarantee you there's tons back there that you might even ask me about, and I'm like, I'll get back to you on that, because I'm going to have to do a little bit of research, because we have face, we have derm. Most people don't even know we have like a face wash. But even if you just break it down to the fitness programs, like we have Slim and 6. Most people don't even know that. Turbo Fire, Turbo Jam. We have Hip Hop Abs, P90X. There was something called P90 before P90X even came out. Like, there are so many products, but I don't have to feel like I have to be an expert in all of them. I get to choose the challenge groups that I want to focus on. I get to focus on the programs that I want to, and that's how I get to lead my business. So there's something called the ultimate reset with Team Beachbody, and I think it's a great program. And if you love to cook and you really want to detox, I mean, that's the program for you, and you're going to love it. But I'm really scared of bonking because I do teach a lot of fitness classes, and you're not supposed to work out very much on it. And I just know I can't take 3 weeks off of teaching. So I am way too scared to do it because of that reason. But also I'm single right now. And so it's a little hard to want to cook all this food for one person. And you can say that's lazy or not, but that's the beauty of Team Beachbody Coaching. I have a coach on my team, Teresa. She's awesome at Ultimate Reset, and she's done like 4 or 5 groups. She has incredible results. She's great at them. So if you ask me about the Ultimate Reset, guess what? I'm going to say, hey, why don't you go talk to Teresa, because she's done it a lot. She knows it. Like, she lives and breathes it. Like, that's really cool. Like, I don't have to feel like, oh my God, my quota this week, I have to sell 2 P90Xs and 2 Turbo Jams. And gosh, I really don't like this program, but I have to talk to someone about it. Like, you're not being authentically you. So when I say that Beachbody is all about building your own brand, it is, because when you decide to do a challenge group, you get to pick the kind of challenge group you want. And guess what? Even your personally sponsored coach or your quote unquote manager, the person above you, they can't even tell you what kind of challenge group that you have to or have to not do. Like, you get to pick. Like, we want you to be more you and be more authentic and live your lifestyle. And most importantly, let eating healthy and being fit into your lifestyle. And then you lead with example and share your experience, and other people will see that you're not just talking the talk and telling people to buy all this stuff. Like, you actually do this, and you're going to go to work and you're going to whip out your Shakeology, and they see that. And no, that's not where you make the sale. And all of a sudden you're like a millionaire overnight. Someone asks you about Shakeology and you're like, oh, it's just something that I drink to eat a little bit healthier because it's really hard to eat healthy for me. Like, I really struggle with that. And that's all you have to leave it at. And then you just start a conversation. And I think being able to let people know that you get to work with who you want, because you get to pick the people on your team, and you get to promote the products you want and the challenge groups you want. I mean, that's a lot of freedom. So when I say that Beachbody Coaching is freedom, I mean, yes, Joey just said how it's freedom financially and it's freedom to create your own schedule, but it's also freedom to run the business the way you want. And you are your own CEO. And Joey says this a lot, and I think it's such a great way to think about the business, is that you are your own business. Like, you are in the business for you, but you don't have to be alone in the business, because there's people on my team, Team True Heart, and there's people on Joey's Team Achieve, and we all get to work together. No, Joey and I actually are not in this big, like, crazy pyramid scheme. Like, I'm not underneath her and she's not underneath me. If you were to ask me where she is and compared to me, I have no idea. I don't know where she is. I could care less, but I know I just have a lot more fun working with Joey. Even though she's in Boston and I'm in Colorado, I get to choose the people I work with. And I don't think a lot of other jobs you get to do that. Now, that doesn't mean that you might not have a coworker that you love to work with, but maybe they want to join on to your challenge groups, so you get to work with them more. Maybe they want to start, working a business with you and things like that. But you get to choose that. You don't have to work any one way. And I think that is really the bigger picture with Beachbody Coaching, because I've been in pharmaceuticals and I've been in corporate America for 5 years. And it's not that I don't feel very appreciative for it. Like, I'm in no way saying that, oh, I have this terrible job. I'm very lucky and I'm very fortunate. But when I wanted to go home this past weekend to see my family, there was a flight at 2:00 that was $300 cheaper than the flight at 6:00. So I called my manager and I asked, hey, do you mind if I leave early because I can save $300 on this flight? And he said no. And I'm stuck. Like, I don't get to go home and have dinner with my family. I get to get in at midnight now. And I also have to pay $300 more, because that's just what I have to do in my job. And like I said, I'm very fortunate I have a job, but that's the kind of thing where I don't want to have to ask a manager to do anymore. Like, I want to be able to say, no, I'm going to leave that early. And so when I want to go on vacation, I don't feel like I have to ask for a vacation day off or ask permission, or no, you only get 8 vacation days a year. Like, no, like, I want to be able to take my business and go anywhere I want and be able to, hike a 14er on a random day, because, well, I have that freedom because I can work when I need to work. Now, that just leads me into my last point, is that it is work. So if you are on this call thinking, okay, I'll sign up as a Beachbody coach and overnight I'm going to be making millions, this is not the right business for you. And even if you think I'm going to sign up and overnight I'm going to magically understand the entire business and I'm going to be rocking all these challenge groups and I'm going to go from coach to 15-star diamond in 10 days, then this is probably not the right business opportunity for you, because you do have to work. And so, like, for instance, for me, even today, I get up at 5 or 6 a.m. and I get my work done before my 8 a.m. workday starts. And no, it's not easy, but at 5 a.m. when I get up and I don't want to wake up, I think, yeah, but I want to save $300 on a flight, and I don't want to have to keep asking my manager for vacation days. I want to do stuff where I get to go and have lunch with, like, I had lunch with Jacqueline, a girl on my team today, and I was thinking all afternoon, I am in such a better mood right now. Like, I'm just happier. I just feel like life is in a good place, and I know it's because I surrounded myself with a positive person. Well, in pharmaceuticals, I drive around in my car all day by myself, and so if I have a bad call, it's like nosedive. Like, the rest of my day, I try to get out of it, but sometimes it's hard to get out of it on your own. But, I have, even just a 45-minute lunch with someone on my team, and we're just chatting and talking. And, it's not a serious business meeting. I'm not saying we, cracked the code and now we know how to hit Success Club 100 every single month. But we just had a good chat, and we talked all about the ideas and different things we want to do and the people we want to help. And that was really cool. That's the kind of stuff where you still have to set up times to talk to your coaches on the phone. You got to set up times to talk to your customers, because this business is all about relationships, and relationships take time. And so you have to put in a lot of effort and show people that you value them before they're ever going to take an interest in you. Like, you have to be interested in others versus look at me, I'm interesting. And so you do have to wake up early some days, or maybe you have a lunch hour where you can work, or maybe you're going to be the person that likes to work at night. You're a night owl. Like I said, it's your business. You can work it whenever you want, but you do have to work. If you're thinking all you have to do is put one social media post out there with Tony Horton and you, and all of a sudden overnight it just happens, it doesn't, because people need to know that you care. They don't care about you or what you do or what you say if they don't think you care about them. And that's really what is at the heart of this business. It's people. People are the magic in this business. So my story is just, I realized that after I did that 10-day challenge, that it was the support and the accountability that all these people had for 10 days. And then they wanted to do more. They grew their confidence to want to do something else so that they could create the life that they wanted. And that's what the Beachbody Coaching opportunity is. And so moving forward from here, yes, we do have a group that we put you into called the Behind the Scenes of Coaching. And we're going to share more information about what coaches do kind of on a daily basis, and what is this Beachbody name, and where did it come from, and all that kind of stuff. Like, we'll tell you the who, the what, the where, and the how. But what I'll tell you is that why I am a Beachbody coach, because I believe in starting with why. I love Simon Sinek and the book Start With Why. But I became a coach because I believe there's a bigger picture, and I believe in being part of something bigger than myself. And whether that's Team True Heart or Team Achieve, someone invited you or is showing you this recording because they know that you're the kind of people we want to work with, because you believe in taking care of yourself, and you believe that there's a bigger opportunity in this world for you to create the life that you always wanted. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, and you got to put your nose to the grindstone, but it can happen. And that's why I do this, is because we're in the business of changing lives, and that's pretty cool. So I will turn it back over to Joey if you want to tell us what our next steps are.
Sure. It's so funny because I was sitting there, and there was like two things that I wanted to touch on real quick after listening to your story. One is a question that we always get is that a lot of people in this business are successful Beachbody coaches, and they're also fitness professionals. I think we get that question all the time, don't we, Katie?
Yes, all the time.
Yeah, and so there are a lot of people in this business that are fitness professionals that are successful, but if you dig way, way deep into things, most of them are not. Mm-hmm. You might recognize it, like the fitness professionals. You might think, oh, well, they're a fitness professional, so they're obviously successful at this business. And that's not always true. Either way, you have to work, fitness professional or not. So for me, I came into this as a non-fitness professional, like for real. I started the Turbo Gym videos, and I didn't own a pair of sneakers. And I don't know if you guys call them sneakers, tennis shoes, or whatever. We call them sneakers on the East Coast. But I didn't even own a pair of sneakers, honest to God. I had to go out and buy one pair of sneakers just so I could do Turbo Jam. Like, that's how not into fitness I was. And I became a fitness professional after doing Turbo Jam and then learning about Turbo Kick and becoming an instructor, and then Katie and I, we're both master trainers for Beachbody, but those doors honestly opened because of Beachbody Coaching, just from just the avenues that it just took me down those roads. So I will tell you 100%, I did not start this as a fitness professional, and I know so many successful coaches that are not fitness professionals. We're just people who like walk a mile in the shoes. You know, we understand what it's like. I understand the struggle is real. You're on vacation. I know what the struggle is like. One of my friends actually said today, she texted me, we were going for coffee this morning to meet one of my coaches too. And she was like, are we meeting for coffee? And I was like, yes, I'm starving. And she was like, she wrote back, Italian girl problems. That's like so true. Like Italian girl, like, come on, I am Italian through and through, and we eat. So I totally get it. I'm just somebody who walked a mile in shoes. And the other thing is, like, if you relate to Katie's story, as you know, she is a working professional right now trying to make it and transition into being a full-time coach, or if you're like me where you want to stay home with your kids. But I will tell you, like Katie hits the nail right on the head. I was a bartender for years, making tons of money. Like, you make bank as a bartender, and wad of cash in your pocket. So it's hard to give up. And I'm going to name drop so you can, gag yourself if you want to. But Shalene Johnson would say, why are you still bartending? And I'm like, because I make cash, right? And she's like, yeah, but you could make that as a coach. And then I was like, no, I can't. But then all of a sudden the money stopped rolling in. Like the place that I worked at started like dying off, and then nobody was coming in. So then I went to go work someplace else, and the manager was like 12 freaking years old, and he nitpicked. And I'm like a seasoned bartender, so like whatever, 12-year-old manager. And I was like making drinks, and he was nitpicking at everything I did. And I was like, I can't take this anymore. Shalene is right. If I just hyper focus, I can make more money than I was making bartending. And she was 100% right. And I focused and I did it. And I stopped working as a bartender for so many reasons. But one was that I didn't want to work for a 12-year-old pipsqueak who kept telling me that my pour wasn't right. So I think we all, basically what my point is, we all relate to, God, always having to work for somebody else. And you really don't have to if you just focus and get this done, because this is definitely worth it in the long run. So next steps. So like Katie said, we have a group. It's called What the Heck is Coaching. It's 3 days. It's a Facebook group. It's totally private. Nobody sees your posts except for everybody in the group. And we go over what is coaching more in depth than we have on this call. And you can ask questions in there. And we have a bunch of people from our team in there too that will help answer questions. And so it's really informative, and it's a really, really good group. You just have to, give us 3 days of your time to check in with us. And you can be a fly on the wall, or you can be completely interactive. And then if 3 days go by and you're like, this is so not for me, then at least you know. But it's a good way to see more of what we do. And the way you can do that is, A, they're probably already in the group, Kitty. And if they're not, if someone sent you to this direct link, then reach out to the person that sent you to this call is the best way to do it. But after that, honestly, if you do choose this path and you want this opportunity, we all work together. And I think that's what's completely mind-blowing, is that there's no like competition. You don't have to claw your way to the top. You do it built off of relationships, and that's relationships with fellow coaches. And that's how you become successful. So you're not in it by yourself, but you definitely do work for yourself, which is great. So reach out to the person that sent you here and get into our group. And then right after that, we always have training groups, and Beachbody provides a lot of training and millions of dollars worth of advertisement, just BT dubs.
Yes, and that is kind of, so we will post this information because I'm a visual person, so I can tell you, yes, it's $40 to sign up as a coach, and it's $15.95 a month, and it's because of the business service fee, and you get a website, and it's because Beachbody promotes all of our stuff. And if there's new stuff, or there's a special on something, or something goes on discount, like, you don't have to do any of that. So like all the advertising, like website stuff, like, thank God, in my head, like, thank God I don't have to do that. Like, I hate counting my own samples as a pharmaceutical rep, like every night coming home and counting and then going, like, I don't have a closet full of Shakeology, and I never will, because I'm never going to count it. And I just love that fact. Like, anyone from Beachbody can buy something 30 days, they're unhappy, they return it, and you tell them call customer service, and they do have a great customer service team. So we promise that we will share all like our honest to God, like this is how it works stuff. So don't think that you're in this group and you can't post a question, but really ask everything you want to know. Like, even if you think it's going to be a negative thing, or you're like, well, I heard this about Beachbody, I heard this about Beachbody. Like, we want you to ask all those questions so that at the end of 3 days, you really know, is this for me or is this not for me? Like, that's really what this group is about. And we obviously think it's a great opportunity, and we'll be all honest with all of the questions that you guys ask. But it's a really great group because your question might be something that other people want to know, and it might lead to another question. So only us can see you in the Facebook group, but just make sure to reach out to the person that sent you this link and make sure that they add you to the group, because we will be posting starting tomorrow. And other than that, we just thank you so much for hopping on the call. I know that your time is your most valuable asset. And so the fact that you guys would give us, a little bit of time on a Monday night, we appreciate it. And then just be open to the 3 days. And again, like Joey said, it's not like a non-pressure situation. So don't feel like, oh, I have to make a decision on Thursday. Like, we just want you to feel like you can give us 3 days, be with us, ask all the questions you want. And then after the 3 days, you can decide what is the best next step for you.
Yes, Katie, I'm with you.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in the group, and we'll start posting. And other than that, thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you.